Hello, welcome to episode 216 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian,
And I'm James.
and today we're going to talk about some banning,
Hmm.
and perhaps we're going to talk about going dumpster diving.
Yeah, a little bit of garbage to close the show out with, potentially.
Yeah,
Depends how long we go on banning.
yeah. So if you want to get at us about things in the magic world or things you want us to talk about, or just to say hey, like all of our social media links are in the description. So check those out, reach
Yeah,
out, say hi.
absolutely. Make sure you hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Like Brian said, if there's anything that in particular you guys want to hear about, that's what we're here for. So let us know, show ideas, comments, criticisms, whatever you got, let us know. If you already like what we do and you want to support us, there's two ways you can do it. The first is through a TCG player affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Follow that link over to TCG player, and anything you purchase will help to support the show. We'll get a small percentage of whatever you buy to help pay our hosting fees and keep the podcast going. If you want to support us more directly, you can do so at patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. If you really like what we do, we've provided a whole bunch of value to you over the last, 4 years?
Something
4
like
years,
that,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
3 or
If
4
we've
years.
provided value to you every week and you want to give back a little bit, you can chip in over there. There's some tiers made. If you want to chip in a different amount, you're welcome to do that as well. The tiers don't really mean anything. But yeah, sign up, help us out. We'd appreciate it. Patrons get access to our show notes, so you get an idea of what we're going to be talking about that week. You also get to listen to another hour of content out of us. Sometimes magic related, most of the time not. In the form of our pre-show.
Sometimes bridge related.
Yeah, sometimes bridge related. If that's your thing and you want to listen to the pre-show, you can sign up at patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. And like I said, chip in a couple bucks, whatever you feel is appropriate, and you get all that stuff. Also, about every other month, I like to send out little thank yous to our patrons. Should be sometime this month. I'll be getting them together to send out, so you guys can keep an eye out for that. If you want to get in before I send them out, make sure you go sign up, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. Speaking of, we do have a new patron, so I just wanted to say thank you to Pickled Blowfish. Have no idea what your real name is, but thanks for chipping in. You're the best.
I want to be with you. Yeah.
Just make sure you get me your address and your name so that I can send you swag when I get it together.
Or I'm okay with just the address, so it can be sent to Pickled Blowfish at 123 Main Street or whatever. Fine with that.
Yeah. We're a small
in
show, so I handwrite these envelopes. It would be very strange to hand mail something to Pickled Blowfish.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. All right. So, back in the before times, it was a simpler, easier time. And wizards would like tell us, hey, we're gonna have a meeting about bannings on like next Monday at Olive Garden.
Yep.
And then after we eat our delicious endless breadsticks, we will post what we are banning.
Mhm.
Right. Now it's like whenever Ian Duke wakes up in the morning and feels like I choose violence, right? Like
He's
like
a
if he
goose.
rolls out, yeah, if he rolls out of bed and like steps on a Lego, like cards are going away. Right? Like I don't know what the rhyme or reason is. Exactly. It's like he's like the groundhog. If he sees his shadow in the morning, cards get banned.
Quick, somebody get that man a light.
Exactly. So today he stepped on a Lego and saw his shadow, and just randomly, I think it was Brad was the first person who posted the in the general chat,
Yeah,
in Discord, yeah, hey, there's a banning, and I was like, what? So I went and checked it out, and so yeah, they banned cards today out of the blue.
Just one format.
Just one format. So they banned expressive iteration and legacy, and White Plume Adventurer in Legacy.
Okay.
So if I watch, I would say 3 to 7 to 8 Legacy videos every week,
Mhm.
maybe more. So like I'm kind of plugged in with what's going on in the format to some degree. Now it's a combination of jank from 3bin U
Yeah.
and combo decks ranging from full on jank to full on competitive stuff from Bryant Cook, the
Epic
Epic
Storm.
Storm on YouTube. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so I kind of have a feeling what's going on. And if I don't know if you've been paying attention to Legacy since Strixhaven.
Yeah.
So is that no, it's a full year, right?
Yes.
So Strixhaven
No,
came
is
out in
it 2 years ago?
2022. Oh yeah, because
Yeah, it's 2 years ago.
Ikoria was in 2020,
Yeah.
and then Strixhaven was in 2021.
Yeah.
So for a full 2 years, they've just been letting Expressive Iteration ride in Legacy.
Mhm.
And I think for 21 of those 24 months, roughly, people have been saying, hey, you need to ban Expressive Iteration. It's a
Card's too good.
problem.
Yeah.
Um, and they were like, oh, the format will adapt. No, it
Yeah.
will not adapt.
Guess
I
what?
don't know why.
It didn't adapt.
Yes, I don't know why this took 2 years.
Yeah.
So I saw Thraben You had a post about it, like a short on YouTube, and he pointed out that Delver has got to be for the last like year and a half, 2 years, combination the best aggressive deck
Mhm.
and the best control deck in the format,
Yeah.
right? Because an aggressive tempo deck, we've talked about tempo being like you trade cards in your hand for an advantage, for a short term advantage now,
Mhm.
right? And you hope to leverage that short term advantage into a win,
Yeah. It's
right?
kind of the mono red adage where your card advantage comes in the form of your opponent being dead with cards in their hand that they couldn't cast.
Exactly. Well, expressive iteration let Delver get cards in their hand
Yeah.
and got to look at multiple cards.
Yeah.
So like they could 1-for-1 you and like daze you and do tempo stuff.
Yeah.
And then like in the mid game they would just like draw 2.
Realistically, like how close, I don't know if anybody's made this comparison or not, but how close is expressive iteration to dig through time? Like it's one more mana, but
No, it's not. It's do you mean Treasure Cruise?
oh sorry, yeah, Treasure Cruise.
That's because
Yeah.
dig through time, it's the same amount of mana.
Yeah, it's same as dig through time. Well, I mean I guess dig through times it is just dig through time.
To some degree, yeah.
Yeah.
Dig through time saw more cards,
Right.
but no, but effectively you are at some point in the game you're getting to refill
Mhm.
your hand
Yeah.
to the point where people were playing Mystic Sanctuary because the best thing you could possibly do after you cast an expressive iteration
Just cast another
was
one.
to cast another one, was to put it back on top of your deck.
Yeah.
You were willing to go, you know what? I'm just going to draw this one again, thanks,
Mhm.
and do this again. So that does cut off some of Delver's long game,
Right.
but I don't know, like if you are if you're a Delver player, like there are other cards that do something pretty similar.
Mhm.
I mean, if you go, I guess you have to flip your Delver because I was gonna say, of one mind,
Mhm.
like Dragon Rage Channeler plus a flipped Delver is a 1 mana draw 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's
Uh,
pretty good.
it takes some work. I think isn't there like a thing that if you have a winged words, is that it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Winged words. You have to have delirium on your guy, but I think it's pretty close.
Mhm.
Um, it's not as good. Here it is. Ta-da. Yeah, so it's a divination, but if you have if you have a creature with flying, it's just 2 mana draw 2.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty close.
it's worse,
Yeah.
but it's pretty
Is it
close.
instant
Like,
speed or sorcery?
I think it's a sorcery. It's a sorcery.
Okay.
Um, I what was so when Arkham's Astrolabe got banned,
Yeah.
right? What did we discover? That abundant growth is a large enough percentage of Arkham's Astrolabe that people just started playing abundant growth,
Yeah.
right? And there's going to be, I'd say, for the next month, people looking for what is enough of expressive iteration for me to play,
Hmm.
right? Like, you go turn one, Dragon Rage Channeler, attack, play Charter Course.
Hmm.
That's probably good enough,
Yeah, probably.
right? Or like, it's worse on an empty board and you like top deck it. But if you like know you have Charter Course in your deck, you just hold a land in your hand
Yeah.
to discard the land. Like, this is kind of like, you have to be like more disciplined to be like, okay, I'm like a Delver player. I'm like Charter Course's Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I need to make sure I can have a land to pitch to my Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Like, you see one less card. Like, there are downsides, but like, if the whole thing is like, hey, I need to get a 2-for-1 in the mid game,
Hmm.
right? Like, any number of these stupid commons that
Will do the trick.
that like are divination with upside
Yeah.
will do the trick.
Well,
I
so like that might be a good point to talk about another card out of Delver, not that was banned, but that they bring up in the article here, and I hear people complaining about all the time, and that's Murktide.
Yeah, what did they say about Murktide? This they picked up. We acknowledge.
Yeah, that they picked up Murktide as a
Yeah,
notable addition, but like Murktide is some portion of that as well, right?
we just like a thing to do in the mid game.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it is. Murktide is a card that I I feel like I missed when it was spoiled. I feel like a lot of people missed it initially.
Hmm.
That like it is a 2 mana 6/6
Yeah.
out of the tempo deck, and like is just like an absurd like efficient card.
Hmm.
So should have realized this, right? But there was a time where Delver played Tombstalker,
Yeah.
which Tombstalker is Murktide Regent. It's like a 5/5,
Yeah.
5/5 flyer. That's it. Delve.
Hmm.
For I
Wasn't it
think this
more mana though?
it may have been looking. Might have been 6 black black. But it was black black. So like they had to go into a totally different color.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
hard
was 6
splash.
black black. Yeah. 6 black black, and you were in a different color. So like they played that. And so now we gave them an on color Tombstalker.
Yeah.
And so that is pretty solid.
Well, I mean, there was a point in time where Teamer Delver was a thing, and they played Tarmogoyf, and
Hmm.
Murktide is a very similar role as Tarmogoyf, where it's just a 2 mana
Big
big.
idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except this has flying, and Tarmogoyf doesn't fly, but
Yeah, which is a huge but,
yeah.
right? There for as like powerful as Legacy is, the number of creatures. Oh my god. Oh wait, no. No, we need them to ban Murktide for Ethereal Forger to become good,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
Because I
Yep.
know you
The
bought
whale.
some.
Yep.
Yeah, the whale. So we need we need them to ban Murktide.
Yep.
Um so someone had suggested, I forget if it was on Twitter or in some video, that maybe Delver goes back to being 3 colors, but I don't know what you get from a third color.
If you
That
go back to
like
Grixis, you get the domain draw card from
oh,
Dominaria United.
Shadows, whatever.
Yeah,
Shadow Prophecy?
yeah. I don't know if that's worth it or not, but
Let me see what it does. It's 3 mana. Look at the top X where X is domain.
yeah.
Like look at the top 3, put 2 in your hand, lose 2 is fine. But yeah, I guess I don't know, like, because I would assume you'd go Grixis, because like green would get you Tarmogoyf, but that's not what you're losing, right? You have your
Right.
Tarmogoyf. Black gets you a different kind of interaction and like Kolagon's command
Mhm.
as like your mid game, but that doesn't help you hit land drops,
Mm.
right? So like I don't know what the I'm trying to think of what the card is that would like fill that role. Because
Um,
I guess what were they
Abundant
playing?
Harvest.
Abundant, I guess abundant, but that's a 1-for-1, right?
Well, right, but it puts a card in your yard um
Delve.
for Dragon Rage Channeler and Murktide, and gets you your land or your not land.
Here you go. Let's look at. There you go. Blue Red Delver from 2020 by someone had. Okay, no, stop. They had this person has Brineborn Cutthroat. Get this out of here.
Oh yeah, no.
This is not Blue Red Delver art from the archives. Oh, this is from 2022. No, Blue Red Delver in Popper. Oh, here. Blue Red X Delver. It's behind a paywall. Sorry, CFB. I'm just trying to find. Oh, here we go. Here's a 2019 list from Reed Duke. So, had Delver, had Dreadhorde Arcanist, banned.
Mhm.
True Nemesis, like that's what we need right now. Young Pyromancer, not good enough.
Yeah. Better versions currently exist.
Yes. Brazen Borrower. I can see them adding a Brazen Borrower.
Yeah.
What were their like? Uh, so here they had less. What's it called? They had less card advantage, right? Blue Red Delver before was like had Chain Lightning,
Yeah.
Forked Bolt, like a Preordain and a Spell Pierce, and Stifles. Right? You could go back to like Stifle
Mhm.
and try to like stifle people's fetch lands and really be on that lifestyle. Uh, if you're trying to be like more like have more card advantage, I don't know what fills that role.
Yeah.
But like there's also Mercurial Spell Dancer as your
Mhm.
like card advantage thing, kind of taking the Dreadhorde Arcanist spot.
Mhm.
Not as good, but still in that same like area. But like you remember, like Blue Red Delver used to be more aggressive. It
Yeah.
was trying to chain lightning fork bolt you out of the game,
Right.
right? Using the cards in your hand is my card advantage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I don't know if there's a way to get back to that. Like you could get back to that, but is there a way to get back the expressive iteration like card? And there's not like another weird like draw a bunch of cards. Like if you told me they were gonna like play one Kolagon's like some mix of like a Kolagon's command and then some other weird 2-for-1, I could see it,
Mhm.
but I don't know what those are. But like
Yeah.
if you go black, you get like terminates, you
Oh, I like
get
Terminates.
yeah. Yeah,
Takes
you
care
do.
of
But
Murktide just
it
peachy.
does. But like you could like have terminate, you could have Kolaghan's command, not to terminate's a 2-for-1.
Right.
I'm trying to think green, there's no like amazing green cards
Yeah, I mean
that like
green
fix
green
this.
isn't really meant to 2-for-1.
Yeah. And then white, like
Again,
not
isn't really
really.
meant to 2-for-1 Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it'd
I'm
have
trying
to
to
be
think of
black. I don't know. Was there wasn't like a blue black spell recently that would fill that role, is there?
no, like Drown in the Lock is like flexible, but it's just a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Oh wait, wait. What is the wording on this? Uh okay. Into the Story wouldn't work. I guess that's still 4 mana for Into the Story. I thought it was just blue blue. Um yeah. So the deck will change. It's just where does it settle out? Does it settle out on bad divinations? Does it settle out on like an extra color for, you know, some 2-for-1 or some additional flexibility?
Yeah.
Does it go back to old blue red Delver where it just like puts in a little bit more burn
Yeah.
to get you dead that way? But it'll be interesting. But I still think that like as always, right? The format has a problem with the fact that Delver is like always the best deck.
Mhm.
Like
Well, like that's kind of what I was getting at with my question is like Murktide still exists. Like Murktide is a giant jump up in terms of like threat power. So is Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Grace Channeler. Yeah, like they said that in the article they said it would like knock down the win rate.
Yeah.
And I think this does that, maybe,
Yeah.
but like I don't think it's gonna make a market a it's going to make a difference, but the deck will change so it's not a huge difference, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was winning 57%, maybe after the deck gets retooled some, it wins 56%.
Yeah.
And it's still the best deck in the format,
Right.
but
Well, like
it's a little bit
judging
worse.
like based on their article, I don't think they care if it's the best deck in the format or not. I think they just want it to be less represented.
Yeah,
Like that's the way the
and
article read.
uh, so their line is in addition to removing a generally strong card, we hope our hope is that by removing Expressive Iteration, we reinforce Delver's historical strengths, efficient 1-for-1 exchanges, and weakness, lack of sources of card quality. No, sorry, quantity.
Quantity, yeah, not quality.
Quantity. Yes,
The
quantity.
the whole deck is built around
Around card quality,
yeah.
yes. Um I I can see that, but like I don't know, like you can't print any 2 mana. Like they are keep coming up to the line of 2 mana draw 2
Yeah.
in a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
Or like so winged words, 2 mana draw 2 if you do a little work.
Right.
Um of one mind, 1 mana draw 2 if you do work that the deck's already kind of doing.
Mhm.
Um what is the new corrupted one? Like
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
divination and it's 1 blue if they're corrupted.
Yeah.
Not
I don't remember
that
what
I
it's called.
think that they're going to like not that I think Delver's gonna start corrupting people,
Right.
but right, like in 6 months, are they gonna print another like uh do some work like Throne of Eldraine, right?
Mhm.
Throne of Eldraine was all about uh monocolored, like that was his thing, right? Was like
Yep.
they want you to
Was
be
a sub theme, yeah.
monocolor. Yeah. Maybe that instead of that, they want you to like have a card of a different color. Like, will there be like 2 and a blue, draw 2. But if you control a red creature, it's 1 and a blue, like reduce the cost by 1.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I was playing Dragon Rage Chandler anyway,
Right.
so I guess I'll just have the, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're gonna print something that just slots into that hole.
Well, I mean, they've done. Oh, here we go. What about Tainted Indulgence? Blue
Like
black
that's
instant, draw 2 cards, then discard a card unless there are 5 or more mana values among cards in your graveyard.
I mean, that's seems pretty workable.
Yeah, I don't know that you're necessarily going to get to 5 mana values in your graveyard, but
Um, I think they can easily get 3 of them, right?
yeah,
Um, 'Cause right, do they even? So they have Murktide and Brazen Borrower, other spells. Force is a 5.
Force is a 5. Yep,
Daze is a 2, so you can get 0 from a fetch land or a bauble.
yep.
A cantrip is 1.
Mm-hmm.
A daze is 2. Force, or sorry, a daze is 2. They don't they don't really have a 3.
Yeah,
So like I think there's only 4. There's Murktide Regent and Force. So you'd have to get a Murktide Regent or a Force or a Brazen Borrower in your library, in your graveyard.
to get there, yeah.
So that would be hard, but I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah. I mean, you
Like
could
seeing,
also, I don't know how practical it is, but you could run some sort of split. Like if you're trying to maximize mana values,
hmm
you could run like a split of Delve creatures too.
yeah,
Some number of Tombstalker, Murktide, Zombie Fish.
yeah. Um, hmm. What else? It's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, I was just going through Scryfall
for
Grixis
like draw 2.
instants that were printed recently. Well, no, just instants printed recently.
Gotcha. Yeah. But I mean, like, what if there's like some dumb green card that's like, you know, search your deck for a land, draw a card,
Yeah.
right? This like blue green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like then that gets played, right?
Well, I
And
mean,
we've had,
how close is that to Growth Spiral? I mean,
that's what I was gonna
I
say.
know it
Like
doesn't
Growth
search
Spiral's
for a
close,
land, but
but Growth Spiral's close. Like I don't think they'd want a Growth Spiral, but you could.
yeah,
Doesn't put you up cards, but it gets you up mana.
tempo.
Yeah. Um. Well, man, Volcanic Islands are $800 a piece.
Ooh,
Doing it. Yeah, the total cost of Delver is $4,000, and 3,200 of that is 4 Volks.
yikes.
Yeah, sick. Um, yeah, I feel like there's something you could do,
Yeah,
right? There's something you could do to make it work, but I don't know. But again, like you could just change the deck where it's more aggressive, and you're trying to shorten the game.
yeah,
So there's any number of things you could do. So yeah, looking at the Goldfish data, so they had what did Magic say, or Wizard said that, so mono white, so Delver and mono white were with their combined presence approaching 30% of the field in some circles of competitive play,
mhm,
which is a really weird way to not say where you're getting your data from,
right.
right? They could have said challenges,
Right.
they could have said leagues. In
Certain
some circles of,
circles. Yeah,
yeah, it's like, what do you just say where you're getting your data from?
yeah.
because Goldfish has Delver at almost 16% and Initiative at 6.5.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's
then
not
there's like
30.
that is not 30. That's like 22, which is like, and I think Goldfish takes their stuff from like kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what their certain competitive circles are. So now they felt that the natural foil to Delver was mono white, and that like the two of them were like kind of keeping each other in check.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, they were trying to do one of those bans where like they don't just like ban the
The
card from
thing.
the best deck,
They ban
and
the
then
next thing too.
then let the second best thing come up and like put the smackdown.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, let's ban initiative
Mhm.
or an initiative card. So, in the history of things we didn't bother to playtest by Wizards of the Coast, we have initiative cards. So they banned White Plume Adventurer.
Yeah. And we talked about this card a little while ago because it was like not super long ago that it was finally added to Arena, or not Arena, Magic Online. And
it like
that's
quintupled
really,
in price.
yeah, where it exploded because evidently there's not a whole lot of paper legacy that gets played.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Like it was a card that like people were like talking about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't wait for this to get added. Kind of like Minsk and Boo.
Yeah.
But Minsk and Boo got added a little too quick to take advantage of it. So
I guess that
yeah,
kind of goes to show the power of the machine though, right?
yeah, like people were like, this needs to get added. I think it's good. And as soon as it got added, it became, I think within like 2 weeks, it was the best deck in the format.
Yeah.
Or one of the best decks, like just behind Delver.
Yeah.
So White Plume Adventurer, I did a quick Scryfall search of Initiative.
Mhm.
White Plume Adventurer is the only 3 mana initiative card.
Imagine that.
So it
The
was
cheapest
2 and
one's
a
the
white,
best one.
and it allowed you to go Soul Land, what's it called? Chrome Mox or Lotus Petal,
Mhm.
play White Plume.
Yeah.
And though that didn't 100% win you the game, it came pretty dang close. They have most decks only had like 1 turn to kill it.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Delver decks, if they didn't have a bolt that turn, it became a 5/5.
Mhm. And then you just can't
then
kill it.
yeah, and then you can't block it
Yeah.
as well. Because what is it? At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature. Oh wait, no, this is the one that gives the other one gives CC Engineer is one that gives protection. Yeah, okay. But yeah, White Plume just got too big, and then you're just like, well, I'm done. I can't kill it. And then the next turn you got trapped for 5.
Yeah.
So they've had to ban initiative in Pauper. They banned all the ones you could like reasonably Dark Ritual into.
Specifically called that out in the ban and restricted announcement.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can Dark Ritual into this. This got to go.
Yeah.
So like Ravenloft Adventurer. I think one of the red ones is that Ravenloft is. Oh, that's a rare. Sorry. All the common ones. I don't know. They all got banned. And so like it is mechanics that are made for multiplayer formats don't translate well to single player formats.
Obviously,
right?
If we have learned anything recently.
Yeah, but I mean, like even go back to like True Name Nemesis.
Mhm.
True Nemesis was like a bad commander card.
Yeah.
It didn't get played. It was the best or second best creature in Legacy for like 4 years.
Well, to the point that they had to reprint that commander deck, like specifically that one got sent back to reprint. Not the whole set of them, just the one.
because you couldn't find it because people needed true names.
Yeah.
Like, it was the best one by far.
Yep.
And now we have Initiative, which, like, I'm sure is, I mean, we played an Initiative game.
Mhm.
It was a fine multiplayer mechanic,
Mhm.
but 1v1, like, if like they stick their thing on turn 1 or turn 2, and then you're just like, there's nothing I can do
Yeah.
here.
I guess this happens from now on.
Yeah, I guess, like, oh, I don't have a creature,
Yeah.
or they had a removal spell. So they got rid of one of them. Now there was a red-white initiative deck running around.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of this. You were telling me about it in the pre-show a little bit.
Yeah, so there was a red-white deck that was White Plume, Seasoned Dungeoneer, and Caves of Chaos Adventurer.
Mhm.
Um, so there's a chance that, like, there were like some mono red stompy decks that were playing Caves of Chaos Adventurer. So maybe some of those become like 2-color.
Yeah.
Um, where you have Caves of Chaos Adventurer and Seasoned Dungeoneer. I would like to point out, Caves of Chaos Adventurer is a human.
Mm.
Seasoned Engineer is a human. I would hmm,
Legacy humans.
Ravenloft Adventurer, the black one, is a human. So if you went like Cavern, Soul Land, Accelerant, you could play any of these on turn 2 off of your like Cavern.
Yeah.
Um so I think Initiative stays around, but it won't be nearly as powerful without like the consistent turn 1 of White Plume Adventurer.
Yeah.
So, like, that'll be good, but, like, the fact that they've had to ban this mechanic
Out of
in 2 formats,
yeah, two of the three format or two of the four formats where it's legal.
I guess they, and, like, White Plume Adventurer is legitimately vintage playable.
Yeah. Well,
Like, there was a
they
big,
called that out in this article too, didn't they?
I think, let's see here.
I think at the very end. Mono White Initiative is also making a mark in Vintage, but our
Yes.
data shows this is additive to the usual metagame pillars rather than a win rate outlier.
Hmm. Mhm. Yeah. So, like, there was a, oh gosh, what was it? Eternal Weekend, where, like, Mono White Initiative was one of the, like, I think won the whole thing.
Mm.
I I think it's a general rule of thumb. If you print a mechanic and a deck built around that mechanic wins the vintage tournament, your mechanic is bad. It's too powerful.
Definitely a possibility.
Oh, what if like Delver just played like Bone Crusher Giant?
Oh yeah.
It kills opposing Delvers,
Hmm.
right? Flipped or not, it kills Dragon Rage Channeler before it flips.
Yep.
It's also a 4/3, so it is a 2-for-1.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like the 4/3 body is relevant.
Yeah.
Right, like, yeah, you could just bone crush people.
Yeah. Maybe.
Um, so it'll I appreciate there being a, like, a Chalice of the Void deck that is not mono white, initiative,
Yeah.
right? But, like, as we've often said, if you resolve a Chalice on 1 in, oh, this didn't even have Chalice, they were not even chalicing, they were actually playing a mid-range game, boo.
Hey, what's the matter with mid range? Besides it being not playable.
This person this person this hero, who finished second place in the Legacy Challenge, had 1 Walking Ballista, 4 Archon of Emeria, 2 elite spellbinders, get it? Somehow those are just 50 cents. 4 white plumes, 2 palace jailers, 4 seasoned dungeoneers, 4 solitude,
Mm.
and 1 Elishnorn. Mother of machines.
Of course.
This person was like, get it.
Oh, Elishnorn's actually kind of sick with the pitch elementals, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Protects you from opposing and doubles yours.
Yeah, just get him. I guess there's a Grixis tempo deck here. Well, what was it? Oh, okay. So apparently we were on Team Snuff Out. Snuff Out has
Okay.
been making. Do you know Snuff Outs are $12 a piece? Almost 13.
They got expensive when Legacy Death Shadow started coming around.
Yeah, but they've just not been reprinted.
Yeah.
Do not buy them. Please don't, because they're going to get reprinted as soon as you buy them. This is just how it goes, people.
Oh, they're probably going to be in Lord of the Rings.
Probably. I can see it.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess the other thing, if you're on the tempo plane, is just Snuff Out, just like in Delver.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I was looking for, like, mono red Stompy, but they actually don't have it. So weird.
Been
Remember,
replaced
like,
with mono white.
Yeah, but like this mono white deck didn't have. Okay, so maybe this mono white deck was weird because, or 43% of mono white initiative decks had 4 chalices. So this one might have been
An
an
outlier.
outlier, or maybe things were changing.
Yeah.
Where chalice wasn't as good. But I'm looking for like, because like mono red Stompy could come back.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, what is it called? Blood Moon is still good.
Yeah.
And Caves of Chaos Adventurer is not a reasonable magic card. It's a 4 mana 5/3, so you can bolt it. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Has trample. You get the initiative. And when it attacks, exile the top card of your library. If you if you've completed a dungeon, you may play that card this turn without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, you may play this card this turn. So every time it attacks, it draws you a card.
Basically.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We take those.
It's also just like a Juggernaut.
It is. Juggernaut's ready. It's a Juggernaut that ETBs and draws you a mountain.
Yeah.
And then the next... Well, and it's not really a 5/3 because if it doesn't die, it becomes a 7/5.
This is
and you
true.
just lose the game to it.
Yep.
It's Super Juggernaut.
Super Juggernaut.
So I think that initiative's going to be around, but if you can resolve a chalice or like a Trinosphere, any number of ham sandwiches can then win you the game.
Yeah, initiative is just a way to do it.
To do it faster, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Like every so often, if you pay attention to Legacy for any amount of time, every so often a new random tribe like would day 2 a GP or like do really well on a challenge.
You remember the whole like pirate stompy thing?
That was a fake deck, but then people tried to make it happen.
Yeah.
But there was Dinosaur Stompy.
Yep.
It was like, well, if I resolve a chalice, it doesn't matter where my power and toughness comes from.
Right.
And I like dinosaurs.
Rawr.
So I'm gonna have Dinosaur Stompy.
Yep.
And also I want to resolve a Carnage Tyrant in Legacy.
Right. Well, I mean, should we play Maverick then?
Or not
Nick
Maverick.
Fit.
What's the Nick Fit? Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Well, you resolve Dramoka. I don't know if that's as cool as resolving Carnage Tyrant. But like
I've seen lists with Carnage Tyrant.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. But you can but like you resolve a chalice and then like you resolve a 5/3 that draws you a card and then
Yeah.
becomes a 7/5, and then you just win the game with that. Like,
Right.
that's fine. And then you also have a 3/4 that gets protection from creatures
Yeah.
when it attacks. Sold. So the deck will get like worse, but it'll still be around. I mean, honestly, right? Like after Delver on the Goldfish page, it's mono whites at 6%, reanimators at 6%, cephalid breakfast is 6%,
Oh,
Grixis
really?
tempo, which it yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Cephalid breakfast got good with what is it? There's some card that got uh was it just I thought there was something other than Thassa's Oracle that like made it good. But I forget, maybe it was just that. Maybe I'm missing something. No, I've seen it played a
Caldra
lot.
Complete is in this list.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for other things here.
There's a Saga.
Yeah, maybe it's Saga as well.
That's weird. I
But
haven't
yeah,
heard
people have been
anybody talk
playing.
about Cephalid Breakfast in
Yeah,
forever.
people have been playing Cephalid Breakfast. Yeah, but you get to play Shuko.
Yeah.
I guess that's the. I feel like there were other like equips for 0 equipment.
Paradise Mantle. There's not many.
Does Bonesaw equip for 1?
Yeah. Cost 0, equips for 1.
Okay. Uh, it's here. That did not work. I typed equip 0 and that was
Nothing.
bad. I got I think every equipment
Oh.
as opposed to like okay, Cathar Shield is 0, cost 3 to equip. Yeah. But yeah, you have but like they're all according to Goldfish, there's this huge swath of things that are like 6 to
Yeah.
like 3%, right? Amazing. Delver 15.7.
Mhm.
And
Not a problem.
technically, I guess I can maybe see their mono white plus is it plus Delver? Because if you take is it Delver plus Grixis tempo,
And then
which
add
is
in
just
Mono White. Yeah.
with which is just uh Delver with snuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Delver with snuff out, right? Um,
And 2 Thoughtseize on the board.
yeah, but um, that gets you to 21%. So if a fifth of your format is Delver, right? Like that's a problem. Like
Yeah.
the rest of the matchups, fine, right? I mean, the rest of the deck distribution,
Mhm.
absolutely like fine,
Yep. Closer to where
can
it
live
should
with
be.
it, right? But like, I don't know, they're just in a situation where they can't figure out how to make Delver 10% of the metagame.
Right.
And maybe Delver goes to 13%. Well, is it Delver? And then some other like Delver becomes 7%.
Yeah.
And you're just like in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
Or there's like 4 different Delvers.
You're just mixing your Skittles.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I got a blue and a red, and now I'm gonna have a white one.
Yeah.
Because I want Stoneforge Mystic or something.
Yeah.
Or I want to play Swords. So then I have a blue and a red one.
Just guy.
And yeah, I'm gonna be Jessica. I'm gonna be Grixis. I'm gonna be Teamer. And it's just like, okay, like, but we're just doing the same thing. Or I'm just blue red.
Yeah.
What is this art? So I saw the art for Green Post, and the art that they had in the thumbnail. Oh, that is a weird art for Primeval Titan. That makes me sad. Get it off my screen.
I don't see green
So
post.
like you have to like expand to like all decks
Yeah.
and go to mono green cloud post, and it's like a bipedal elk holding a big stick.
Hmm.
Not my prime time.
Yeah. No.
No, no, thank you. Right? Like if you could get Delver, all forms of Delver to be like 6 or 7% of the metagame, I don't think anyone would care.
Yeah.
Like people would be like, perfect. I have no complaints.
Yep.
But like when you queue up and it's like, you know, if every time you watch a league, you see 2 Delver matchups, and you're just like, oh, it was a game, and then they like, hit me with the okey doke in the Murktide on turn 4,
Yeah.
and I died. Okay, yippee. But I'm glad they decided to make some changes. I just wish, I don't know. I don't know what the hatchet is you have to take to Delver. Is it just days? Like if
Yeah.
you got rid of Delver,
I mean, that's kind of the
like
age-old question, isn't it?
it is, because like basically any 2 mana spell, creature or spell that you print in blue or red
Hmm.
makes Delver better,
Right.
right? Like, oh, right, because if you think about it, the blue red draft archetype has been the exact same thing for the last like million years,
In every
right? Is
set.
blue red spell slinger. Blue
Yep.
red casts a lot of spells. Blue red casts a lot of spells. Hey, it's Kamigawa. Artifacts. Oh, wait, every other one is blue red casting spells, right?
Yeah.
So, like, they always make these rares that are blue and red that, like, want you to cast spells, and that's all Delver does. So, like, you have Mercurial Spell Dancer that's doing, like, 60% of Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this good enough? Is 60% of Dreadhorde Arcanist good enough? And people are like,
Sure.
maybe. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind brainstorming into another brainstorm where I crack a fetch in between.
Yeah.
In.
I
So,
would like a new hand, please.
yes, I don't like any of these. So, like if you just took Delver out of the metagame,
Hmm.
right? Just if it just went away and you looked at the metagame breakdown, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty sick.
Hmm.
Right?
No,
I can
that'd be
play
awesome.
anything. I can play anything. I'm gonna play like a million different things. I don't know what I'm gonna play against. This is pretty all right? But instead it's like, oh, 20% of the time I'm playing against the turn 1 Delver or Dragon Ridge Channeler.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's not good. And like, I feel like not too long ago, Mono Red Stompy was the best deck, or maybe the second best deck,
Yeah. It was up there for a little while.
right? And like Mono White Initiative is just Mono Red Stompy with planes
Hmm.
on some level. So like, are we just going to get rid of Mono White Initiative and just throw Mono Red? Is Mono Red Stompy just going to go right back up to the top, and we're going to be kind of in the same spot
Maybe.
where Delver's going to be 20% of the metagame, 18% of the metagame, and we have mono red kind of taking the mono white spot. And like, is that what we want to end up? Is that what we want? Right?
I mean,
Like,
I don't mind a Chalice deck being part of the format.
oh no, I guess what I mean is like I don't mind either in that regard, but is it like, is that what Wizards wants?
Yeah.
Just like, well, we're gonna swap out one Chalice deck for another,
Yeah.
and that Chalice deck is always going to be towards the top of the metagame because the best deck in the format plays 45 1-drops
Yeah.
and like one Brazen Borrower that they always seem to have to bounce whatever thing. So yeah, I don't know. Because I just feel like we're gonna just have this same thing and they're gonna be like, oh, the win rate for Delver is worse now, so it's fine. As like, again, every time you watch a legacy video, your content creator just gets smushed by a Murktide
Yeah.
like twice in the league, and you're like, oh. I think what's his name? Phil from 3BNU. had repeatedly been like, well, this was a good game. And then they resolved Murktide Regent, and I just died. It's like they resolved Murktide Regent and held up Spell Pierce. I guess I'm dead. Or what is it? The uh is it Mental Miscast or whatever that card is now?
Minor misstep.
Minor Misstep. Man, I
Was
got
close.
that a million miles away from what it was.
Yeah, it was pretty
Uh,
close.
I know it's a play on Mental Misstep, but
Yeah.
yeah. So like it's like, oh, they held up their Minor Misstep. I guess I got dunked on.
Yeah.
Like Pyroblast you, misstep it. Dang it! Thank you, everyone. Um, Now for the things they didn't touch, I am fine with what they did in Legacy. Delver needs to be worse, but like again, we've been messing with the same like you know
I mean, it's been the same
Delver's
problem forever.
yeah, and it's like you can't print a good 1 or 2 mana blue or red spell without making Delver better.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Well, I mean, maybe the answer is more frequent bannings then.
Yeah, like you just more aggressively like when you design the card, you're like, huh. Well, if like Mercurial Spelldangers start showing up on all of these decks and their win rate goes above whatever,
Yeah.
we just snap ban it. Like just done. Right? If there's a challenge where like 4 of the top 8 are all Delvers with Mercurial Spelldancer, I guess we have to ban Spelldancer. And
Well,
that is just what we're doing.
I mean, realistically, with the amount of Legacy that gets played compared to like any other format, like maybe that's just the correct approach. Like, don't worry
Yeah.
about breaking the format and just, do bans more often. Do more bans.
Yeah, but like you can't do what they did here where they just let expressive iteration sit for 2
Well,
years
no. Well, that's why
and
I said do
everyone
more bans.
yeah. But like and everyone was just like expressive iteration is the problem.
Yeah.
And Wizards was like, "Meh, it's fine." And then you're like, "No, no, 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 no. It's not fine. It is awful."
Yeah.
For like years. I mean, I think Murktide's in the same boat, right? Like
Mm.
I think that like you could get away with Delver if Delver had to be 3 colors, right? Where they
Yeah.
had a chance to stumble over their mana,
Yeah.
or like playing 4 wastelands and having to play like 2 Trops and 3 Valks, or 2 Trops and 2 Valks, as opposed to like 4 Trops or sorry, 4 Valks, Steam Vents, and then a pile of islands.
Yeah.
Right? Like make their mana make them more susceptible to Blood Moon, make it so they actually have to like think about what they fetch.
Man, you really want Mono Red Prison to be top of the
No,
metagame, don't you?
no, but
Make
it's
Blood
more
Moon good
like
again.
but it's more like
No, I know what you mean. I'm just messing with you.
build a weakness into the deck.
Yeah.
And they're saying their weaknesses is they don't get card quantity.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like again, the mono red by card advantage is you had 3 cards in hand when you died,
Yeah.
is probably where you can go with this. So I'm fine with this. Like, I don't know if initiative wasn't fun, but there's always going to be a chalice deck.
Mm-hmm.
And like the chalice decks aren't fun.
Right.
Right? Like
They're the party police.
right, if there's like I don't know, if there's an Emrakul and Ulamog, if there's like an Ulamog riding like a moon, and that is in whatever it is, March of the Machines or whatever it is, right? And that card for some reason is 3 mana, and it makes like Eldrazi Stompy good again, and that's just like the second best deck in the format. Fine.
Yeah, you know those like those motorized unicycles that they have now, the electric unicycles?
Yeah.
It's Emrakul riding the moon like it's a motorized unicycle.
There we go. But it's only 4 mana.
Yeah.
Now for standard, they were like, seems good.
Mm-hmm.
and I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit. I haven't played a ton, but I think it's fine.
There is an awful lot of mono black, but
I mean, I don't know
it's
how far away from that you ever plan to get with Liliana and Obliterator, and you know what I mean.
Lily, Liliana,
Shieldred.
Obliterator, Shieldred, and my vote for worst design card in a long time,
Graveyard Trespasser.
invoked of Invoke Despair.
Oh yeah,
God, I hate that card.
yeah,
So wait. I lost 6 life. You did. They gained 3 cards. They did. Why did I just get 12 for 1? Like this
yeah.
doesn't seem right. Um, but yeah, like you can't get away from that with all of the ridiculous black cards they printed,
Yeah.
and they even banned the best black card,
Hmm.
and it's still the best deck.
Yep. That seems like
Um,
something we were just talking about.
yes. Um, so Pioneer. I am. I think we should um talk about Pioneer and Explorer in terms of like quality of life.
Okay.
I know that in these big tournaments, mono green does poorly.
Hmm.
I don't understand how. Because every time I play against mono green, they have it.
You beat them before they have it.
What turn is that?
Three, two, three.
Like
You need to start
so like
playing Orzhov Auras.
I did.
Uh,
Deck's hot dookie.
what?
I was playing that deck. I was like, I will play this deck again when it is green white and I have a Glade Cover Scout because I kept having my stupid like guy blown up. I played like the one drop that like got him blown up by Beseiju multiple times.
Mm.
And I was like, this is not good.
All right.
Like
Well, I
the
think that's
deck
going to be my tomfoolery for the next couple weeks.
the
Have
next couple weeks. I
I
mean,
have well, I haven't been able to record lately, so I think I owe the people some content. So
yeah, no,
I have been playing that a little bit, and I think that's going to be
I I played it. It was fine. I was winning games. I was just getting frustrated that like I'd pile stuff up on my thing and then like he would die.
mm.
Um this is true. You
Well,
can beat them that way.
you got to
But
get the
like
right things on it. Maybe you're just getting the wrong auras.
maybe you got to get the well, if you don't have light pause, you don't have a lot of choice in what auras you put on it. Oh, and I would like to
Yeah,
apologize to the people. I was like, "Oh yeah, 100% Griff Spoon's on the client. 0%
yeah,
Griff Spoon is not on the
definitely
client."
not on the client.
I was playing one Arcane Flight
Okay.
as my knockoff Griff Spoon.
Yep.
I was like, I need a knockoff Griff Spoon. Arcane Flight, you're on the team. Um, so like, I don't know, like when I play against that deck, it's just like I'm gonna watch you take like a 50 mana turn. And it's like, can we like the deck is not okay with Karn. And so like, I don't know, like let's send Karn to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I don't
Karn's a
know.
messed up magic card, so
It is a messed up magic card, and like, how many times have you like your opponent's resolved like a card on turn 3, and you've just lost the game like on the spot? You're
um,
just like, oh, they're gonna draw 2 cards off of this
yeah,
that are going to beat me,
yeah.
and you're just like, oh, okay, well that was great. So I don't know, or like you're putting all the pants on your boy, and your opponent's like, Karn, get Haywire Might,
Mm.
and you're like, oh, sorry, bud. Uh, you'll come back with the Kaya's Ghost form that you're wearing, but all of your pants will get sent to Goodwill,
Yeah,
and it's not going to work out well for you. So I don't know. I just don't think that deck's fun,
yeah,
and like I feel like it's overrepresented on the ladder,
probably.
and like you just sit down and you're just like, and they're like elf, elf, what's his name? Uh, Cavalier Thorns on turn 3, and you're just like, well, that was I participated in this game of Magic, I guess, technically speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I've beaten it. Like, it's not unbeatable, but like I've been messing around with Jun Transmogrify,
Okay.
where you get Atraxa,
Mm.
and like I've turned 3 to Atraxa and still not beat Mono Green as they take like a 50 mana turn,
Yeah.
and you're just like, why? Now the argument could be a turn 3 Atraxa is not good enough. Like, I'm willing to concede that, but like, I feel like it pushes mid range like out,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't know if I would just want to play, James's perfect Pioneer format, which is just like 95% red black mirrors.
I'm
But
in.
yeah, I know. It's like I get to thought seize into a 2 mana creature that's a removal spell or a beater. Ooh, talk dirtier to me.
That's right.
But like, I don't know. It's just the deck and the Karn just feel like just pure misery, and I'm just can we not? But I don't know. That's my only like major. Like, I guess I have two gripes with the format. One, and they're kind of related. One is like Karn is dumb,
Mm.
and the format is like, at least me playing Explorer, which is again I know Pioneer knockoff. Like, it is very much like it's like standard back when we had Elvish Mystic,
Mhm.
where like the format is built on Elf into 3-drop,
Yeah.
and it feels like that there are so many decks that are just Elf into 3-drop that like there are different flavors, but like it comes down to like, did your opening hand contain a fatal push or other 1 mana removal spell? It did not. Okay.
Pack
Well,
'em
then
out.
they played, yeah, they paid a 3/3, a 2/3 that gave itself haste and smashed you for 3, and then gave their next thing haste and smashed you for 7.
Yeah.
And now you are dead. It's like, oh, amazing. Oh, you had 2 tap lands in your opening hand. Well, I'm sorry.
That was very poor
That
planning on your part.
yes, that 2/3 became a 3/4. They gave the next thing +2/+0 in haste.
Yeah.
You are now dead. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So I don't know.
I wonder if part of
Like,
the problem that you have with Pioneer is that it's not Pioneer.
yeah, Explorer is not Pioneer. That could be
Yeah.
it too. That
Like
like,
how many of the people that you're, running into playing mono green would have been Lotus Field players.
yeah, which I guess uh I might be a Lotus Field player.
Right.
I have been in the past. Uh but yeah, like if you're playing mono green and your opponent's playing Lotus Field, like I don't think that's a good matchup.
Yeah.
I forget what the squares said, but like I don't know how you interact with that. You just like you you play 50 mana worth of stuff and pass the turn,
Yeah.
and they play 22 mana worth of stuff and don't pass the turn, and you're just dead.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay, I did my thing, but I
You
did not give my things
your thing
haste.
was better.
Your thing was better. And I'm like, here's my 7/7. And they're like, yeah, 45 power. And I'm like, oh, cool. Amazing. Um, Sadly, I can't speak much to modern.
Yeah.
Um,
According to
so
Wizards, it's in a healthy spot with plenty of different viable archetypes.
these are also the people that said that Leyline Binding was a player in Legacy. So I don't know if I believe them. Um, so Murktide is 13% of the metagame, but that's not too large of a margin because it's only 4% ahead of Indomitable Creativity.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you didn't get off your creativities, you may have missed your window, but it could be the time now.
You had the crash?
They spiked after Reed's win.
Mhm.
I don't know where they're at now. But they had been up. They got her up around like $20. They are $30. I think I sold mine for 20 in store credit.
Yeah.
So if you've been holding on to them, dear listener,
Make them go
now's
away.
the time. Yeah. Something that if you're newer and you have cards, you may not have experienced. If there's a pro tour that people watch and a deck wins, the random cards from that deck go through the roof.
Uh-huh. Everybody wants to play that deck.
Yeah. Here. Did I spell this right? Here. Xenagos. How much is Xenagos? I guess it's been printed a couple times. Xenagos is $12. Because it's been printed 3 times.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a Commander Legends version.
Of course there was.
Of course. And like World Spineworm, I think, is just World Spineworm price. It's $18. You only need one of those. Well then.
Pretty sure I have a foil. From
doing it.
Goryo's Vengeance days.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it went from $10 to $18 after read 1.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. If you're like watching a deck do well on the Pro Tour, like that's just dollar signs.
Cha-ching.
So Creativity was $13 on February 10th.
Yeah.
On February 21st, it was $30. The line is vertical.
Yoink.
Yoink did it. So, yeah, like, I don't know enough about Modern. I think it's funny that, like, Indomitable Creativity is, like, the second best Modern deck.
Yeah.
That they, like, printed Archon so there'd be a Reanimator deck.
Yeah.
Checks. Yeah, there's not a Reanimator deck anywhere to be found.
Despite printing a reanimate spell and a thing to reanimate.
2 things to reanimate.
Yeah.
And an Entomb.
Yeah.
They just tacked 1 mana onto every legacy reanimation thing. Oh no, I take it back. Reanimator. 0.2%. There were 7 of them. You know what's in front of it?
Everything?
Everything, including
Bogles?
Tron at 0.4%. And even more insulting, even in front of Tron, Eldrazi Tron at 0.5%. The most insulting version of Tron.
Yep.
Even Dredge, which the Dredge guy says is completely and totally unplayable, is in front of Reanimator.
Yep.
It's
well,
like,
I mean, that kind of makes sense, though.
Would you like a deck that has all the same problems as Reanimator? Or would you like a deck that has all the same problems as Dredge, but then doesn't also, like, just win the game on turn 3 sometimes?
Right.
Let me introduce you to Reanimator.
Ooh, Mono Blue Tron, 0.7%.
Oh my god.
Mill, 2.9%.
Yeah, Mono Green Tron. So I guess that's old timey Tron is at 2.2%.
Yeah.
The deck at 2.6%. We have given a deck a name, Generic Ragavan.
I wonder what generic Ragavan looks like.
I don't think it's that generic.
We have Ragavan at home.
Jeez.
Like Walmart brand Ragavan.
It's just a jackal pup You couldn't afford a Ragavan, so you just got a Jackal Pup.
Yeah.
We have Ragavans at home, and it's just a Jackal
What
Pup.
was that bad one we had in the first Theros?
Oh, I
Fader
don't
Fire
know.
Dancer or something?
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever it dealt
Fire Drinker?
Fire Drinker, maybe? Like it hurt you when it dealt damage or something?
Here you go. Satyr Fire. No, Fire Drinker Satyr. Whenever Fire Drinker Satyr is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to you. And then it has fire one of the red fire breathing.
Yeah. That's Ragavan at home.
It's Ragavan at home. We have Ragavan at home. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Jackal Pup is just for each 1 damage dealt to Jackal Pup, it deals 1 damage to you.
Yeah.
So it's
So
Fire
simple.
Drinker Satyr
Yeah.
without the fire breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Ragavan at home. There we go. I guess it's in a fine place. Like, it seems like there's a reasonable number of things that you can play.
Mhm.
I do think that like mana in Modern is too easy, but that might just be what the format is from now on.
It is definitely
Right,
what
like-
the format is from now on. I mean, the
Right,
mana's not going to get worse.
No, but like Creativity is a 4-color deck.
Mhm.
Is playing a red spell that also needs to have 3 mountains in place, so it gets a Dwarven Mine.
Yeah.
For a guy, then Crashing Footfalls is 5 colors. 4
Yeah,
or
but you're
5
not
color.
actually casting most of Crashing Footfalls.
You're casting a lot of the colors, right? Like you, it plays Teferi, so you're casting the white for Teferi. You have Leyline Binding, so the white for that. Like you're only cascading into a green spell. This person's playing Ardent Plea.
Okay.
Because they wanted a 9th thingy, a 9th Cascader. Dear God, Beseiju is $40. Jesus.
Holy moly.
And that set's still in print.
Yeah.
It could be in a dump. You never know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to that again this week.
No, we're an hour and 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Modern's fine. I do, like I said, I think that, like, Modern now is just, like, a lot of, like, 3 to 5 color good stuff piles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even this Creativity deck, 4 Arcana Cruelties. So, you've got 6 black, red, green, a Fatal Push, Bolt, Thoughtseize, Persist, Terminate, Indomitable Creativity. I do appreciate that we're playing Bitter Reunion.
Mhm.
So, I guess it's a base green deck splashing Jundi stuff.
Base red
And the
deck.
what? Base red, sorry. Splashing black and just Ren and 6. So, I guess it's red-black with, what is it called?
Red and
Syria
6
Emissary in the
sideboard
board.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, it's not that bad then. But it's funny, like, I don't know, like, it doesn't feel like that's a deck that's a modern power level deck, but it is.
Well, I was just going to say is I think this deck seems kind of sweet, which probably means it's not modern power level.
What?
This creativity?
Creativity?
Yeah, this Jund Creativity.
I mean, it's the second best deck in the format. Like, that's just like the stock deck.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't read like it's like we had Creativity forever and tons of things you could put in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you could have just, like, the 4 Archons could have been 4 Emeralds for, like, literal years.
Mhm.
And we were like, no, we're good, thanks. And then, like, Archon's like, oh, no, that's good enough. One could argue that Archon could be our girl Atraxa.
Could be.
Yeah. Could be. Draws you a lot of cards.
Except would be like absolutely uncastable.
Would it?
Yeah. How are you going to cast it? Oh, I guess treasure off of your goblin. I guess lets you cast it.
I have been playing Atraxa and casting it off of treasure off of Goblin, the treasure that is Courier's briefcase.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't think you're going to play Courier's briefcase in Modern.
No. And everyone's favorite 5-color mana dork, Jegantha.
Okay.
Now this isn't Jegantha, but like you could cast it off of Fable, and you have access to white mana for.
Well, you can't Gigantha with creativity, right? I
No,
thought
you can't.
Gigantha.
No, you can't Jegantha with
Yeah.
creativity. Like, is there any white? There's no white mana in it at all. Okay,
No.
it's just Jund.
Yeah.
Okay,
And like
but
everything's got to be a mountain.
apparently, 60% of decks play 2 Teferis.
Oh.
So there must be some.
Oh yeah, that makes it. Oh, so the 5-color creativity with Teferis does play Atraxa.
Okay, it does.
Yep. And Prismari Command and Fire Ice and Leyline Binding.
Gotcha. One Atraxa, 3 Archons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they ditch all the black stuff though.
Yeah, they do. Other than Archon. So I guess you can be like Damp Naya? Or I guess like
ew, gross.
What is the I don't know Mossy Jeskai?
Sure. Mossy Jeskai.
Mossy Jeskai. So yeah. I don't know. It seems like it's a good spot. It's funny that like the 2 best decks in the 2 oldest formats are just Delver.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah.
Well, think about for how long like Delver wasn't a thing in Modern though.
Yeah, that we all thought like, why isn't Delver a thing? It just took them putting Dragon Race Chandler
and Murktide.
Took them getting to play Ragavan that's banned in Legacy, Dragon Race Chandler, Murktide Regent.
Holy moly! Look at how many of these cards like are old Modern legal. Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, Mishra's Bauble, Blood Moon. Is it?
And then the lands, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this deck
wild.
is like, yeah, other than what is it, like 6 cards?
Yeah.
And yeah, 7 cards, right? So 4 bolts, a pierce, a snare, and a blood moon.
And the baubles.
And I guess bobbers. So 11.
Yeah.
So 11 of the 41 spells were legal in Modern in 2020.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and Delver doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, Delver's not good enough. Yeah, wild.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the name Generic Ragavan.
So if we ever get back to playing Magic again, that's going to have to be the new standard for deck red sheets.
Generic fill in the blank.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I do like the 4-color zoo. That is the deck I've been like, if I played Modern again, I would play 4-color zoo.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's playing Dramoka's Command? Yes, please. That was like my favorite card. Card was great. I don't know if I want to play General Ferris Rockerick, but everything else I'm in for.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of Territorial Kavus.
So do I. Yeah, but like this I'm in for. I'm like, yeah, Territorial Kavu.
I don't know how many Scion of Dracos I have.
I have the ones that are shown here. I got the list ones.
Oh, okay.
So I have like 4. Like I have all the cards for this. Just because I was like, yeah, this is the deck I would want to play if I played Modern again.
Yeah.
Like this just looks fun and like ridiculous. And good old Leyline Binding.
Mm-hmm.
At like, God, $9 a piece. Jeez. All right. We have been at this for almost an hour and a half.
Well, let's call it then.
We have talked about Modern. Yeah, and this list is weird. So this 4-color zoo list, if anyone's playing along at home, clicking through goldfish. If you look down at like what's normally in them,
Hmm.
they usually have Wild Nikotl, Ragavan, and Nashoba Brawler
Oh, okay.
as like their threat package. So like you have
So this one just went
Kavu
big.
and Scion, and then this one, this is similar to, oh god, what is his name? Magic Aids. Magic Aids did a version of this deck where you cascade a bunch.
Yeah.
So this is the cascade version. So this might be his list. But there are like these versions here because like Nashoba Brawlers, a 5/3 for 2 mana is a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it dies to Fatal Push just like all this other stuff does. So who cares?
It all dies the same.
It all does the same. So with all that,
Hey man, you can't fatal push a Scion at Draco.
you can't. You can't. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He comes to party.
Yep.
So like I feel like there's gonna be like some other like weird domain things in the next like year where they do like pseudo domain or something where like because they're like, oh man, domain's not seeing enough play in standard.
We're gonna have to fix that.
And you're gonna have to bump it up with like some pseudo domain card.
Yeah.
Really big tribal flame steals 2x the number of basic lands you have. It's like, oh.
Can I interest you in Mega Tribal Flames?
You have to cast it and then you have to flip it over and put a counter on it in your graveyard.
Yeah.
It gets a +1/+1 counter.
It's the mechanic from, oh, what was that card? The one that was ancestral if you didn't cast it from your hand?
Not see the unwritten. Something.
Something like that. See the something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it'll be.
See the truth?
Yeah, that's what it was. See the truth.
See the truth, yeah. I was hyped for that. It did not get there. Sorcery Speed Anticipate that occasionally becomes a 2-mana draw 3.
I played that card in Standard for a little bit.
Yeah, like it got like a little bit of run with oh gosh.
The Saga.
Finding the third path. Founding
Yeah.
the third path.
Yep.
He got a little bit of run. And then no more.
Yep.
So with all that, I think I'm okay with these bannings.
Yeah.
Hopefully it makes Legacy a funner place. Hopefully my content watching will be more fun.
I don't think I put it in a worse place.
You can't really, no.
Yeah.
No. So with all that, I think we got a show.
We got a show.
If you want to talk to us about like some deep modern thoughts or anything, please let us know. All the ways to get a hold of us on social media are down in the description.
Yeah, or if you got any ideas for shows, topics that you're dying to hear about, let us know what they are so we can talk about them. If you're looking to support the show, there's 2 ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG Player affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Head on over to TCG Player using that link, buy some stuff. We get credit. Everybody's happy. If you want to support us a little bit more directly, you can do so at patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg, where you can give us money instead of giving it to TCG Player. And instead of cards in the mail, you get access to more of us in the pre-show.
And cards come in the mail.
And cards come in the mail. Not real
everything.
cards, though.
I mean, Wizards would need to pay $1,000 for not real cards to come in the mail.
What even is a real card anymore?
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
What does real even mean, man? So, I had hoped I had come up with a name for this show if we talked about the dump.
Yeah.
It was going to be Dump Yard Wars.
Oh, that's so good.
But we didn't talk about the dump.
We didn't talk about the dump
so
yet again.
Can't use it.
Yep.
So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you on the internets.